Birazdan fazla Kırgızistan operates to your washing machine privilege. Children to the one that people select secretary the intention as a good week is Latins and Native Americans as well as Scotland. As the investigator, according to the book of Jeremiah 50:33, but once the label on the Dutch and glory the covenants to be moved law. Also God in the promises according to the Romans chapter 9 verse 4, Ecclesiastes 7, I have seen servants upon horses, and princes work with servants upon earth. Useless animals, really useless, right? Because you have some Moabites, Chinese, okay, acting as if insects are some TikTok filler, right? So they let animals fight, which insects are also animals, biosystem, anim- flowing, just with the flow animals, okay? They are built to, with the flow, build a biosystem, okay? Not a TikTok fighting show, right? Letting insects fight each other on TikTok for likes and shares. I don't understand, man. Okay, if you do Instagram or TikTok for a hobby and do it, but don't with fighting insects, man. Okay. Anyway, many people, of course, okay, ask themselves why God created insects, okay, or mosquitoes, or do we need spiders, vultures, right? Why would you have vultures, okay, looking like zombie, flying zombie eating, okay, zombie eating zombies, zombie birds, okay, like. Yeah, but the answer is really simple. It's not so difficult. Okay. Comparing to human nature, animals are often a little bit more easy. Okay, when it comes to their behavior and what they do, what they say, where they belong to, what they think they are, what they really are. Okay, where you can find them, where you cannot find them, and how they were created. Okay, not so. Not so much individuality when it comes to humans, which Germany, for example, is a really individual mind frame here. Then yeah, animals are not created to be an individual being. Okay, animals, of course they are, but if you have a pet, for example, okay, then that's more the meaning of the individual animal than the animal being individual itself. Yeah, so these animals are of course disliked. Okay, maybe they frighten you, they scare you, they look ugly. Okay, many think they're useless. Okay, many think we have, I don't know, too much cats maybe. Cats are useless, they look stupid. Okay, and the other one likes cats. These animals can have, of course, as we know, a meaning, but oftentimes we disregard, disrespect, or don't even know why they're here. But the Bible teaches, okay, that you know, of basically all animals have at least some kind of structure. Okay, structured daily routine that creates this place a better place, right? If you fuck up all trees, right, and all forests, of course, like they will lose their natural habitat and all this. I know all this, right? But guess what? They will always find a way, just like rats, which are survivor animals. Okay. They came from Asia, if you don't know. Okay, the Wets, mouse, they came from Asia. Since we talk about Moab, they came from Asia. The Wets, they, I believe, eat Wets. Then they spread over Europe. So really they don't even come from Europe, okay, if you don't know. That's for what I learned about Wets. Yeah, so Wets showed you that animals, even if you try to remove them from the earth, they sometimes, sometimes they teach you different, okay. Look at different cities, different houses, big houses, villa, old castles, big Anwesen, right? You have a lot of Wets there, okay, where people leave a lot of trash. You have a lot of Wets there, and other animals, you have even a saying here, Chinese man in the corner shitting, the fly will fly around the shit. Okay, like that was a saying in Bavaria about what if you are in a room with flies and you want to make the flies go away. Some around those lines, right? And then there was a saying, right, with Chinese in die Ecke scheißen, which means Chinese man shitting in the corner, fly will fly around the corner. Yeah, that's true. Because a fly, like I said, is not really so complicated how you think it is. It's just a random biosystem that tries at least to help you. Yeah, that's why maybe women get angry if you say that she's a help according to the Bible, because you compare her to animals, which animals are a help to clean the earth, to keep the earth intact, okay? It may not look like it, okay? You have women fucking rather dogs than men, okay? Or men fucking rather dogs than women, okay? You have that. Uh, you have even countries giving you a whole DVD shop to it. And yeah, so that's why the Bible says don't miss overlook them, see them as sex partner or as human beings, okay, because it's confusion to think that animals are human beings. Okay, so this is Genesis 1:25, and God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and God saw it was good. God called his creation good. Notice that the Bible does not separate animals into important and unimportant. Every creature belongs to creation. Yeah, so we don't have a separation between important and unimportant. Of course, you rather kill a fly than a big spider or a big dog, right? Guess what? Man? Okay. Even killing an insect is not really what is it, necessary. Okay, if you have animals, insects in your house, then you kill them most likely. Sometimes I have something to not kill them but to do away with them, because sometimes even if you kill them, it leaves so much dirt that you rather put it out with your hands or with something, okay, rather than kill it, because you will have the dirt and the blood. Again, blood is life, so insect is also life on your table maybe, okay. So not necessary. Just like dirt is not necessary. Sometimes humans judge animals only by whether they are convenient, okay, but I think that an ecosystem is convenient if it is installed accurately. Okay, you have people basically into vandalism. Okay, vandalism means you destroy your surrounding, and vandalism is also not necessary. But the scripture says, imagine, what is it? Terror, imagine terror, right? So this is the second example, spiders. Okay, many fear spiders because they have so much legs, so much eyes. Okay, it looks like yeah, it looks like also they have a lot of fluid in their, whatever this is on the this big thing. And people already are they think, organs, a lot of blood, ugly, a lot of fluid, organs, even it's the same with humans. So if you see spiders, you know that if you kill a spider, for example, you have a lot of dirt to to clean, right? So think about having eyes of spiders to clean, and okay, so that is to some extent what people think is ugly. Uh, um, but if you don't know, okay, they reduced the population of flies, mosquitoes, agriculture pests, okay. Without spiders, many insect populations would increase dramatically, affecting crops and ecosystems. Yeah, imagine, okay. So whether spiders, spiders are really, not really about hunting you, okay. So as long as we don't have giant spiders, which the giant spider movies which came out, super duper crap. Okay, the real horror is not the movie, but the way this movie was created. It's really an shitty movie. So giant spiders, of course, I think is not the best. The best. I would say movie to watch, but I think a horror movie with spiders can be better. Yeah, but it was not a good movie. Yeah. So a spider seems frightening, but it quietly performs an important role every day. This reminds us also that usefulness is not always obvious or visible. Okay, people think, for example, um, everything has to be seen to be helpful, but but it's not like that. Vultures eat dead animals. Many people think they are disgusting. Okay, however, they remove carcasses before they rot intensively. Um, Helping reduce the spread of some diseases and recycling nutrients back into the environment. An animal that looks unpleasant can still provide an important ecological service. God often uses humble things for important purposes. Yeah, if you are honest, then you also know that the 144,000 are not too much of a um, too much of a um, ego tripping humans. Okay. By the way, I'm here not in the city, but a little bit out of the city. the next city is not far, but still here's also a wet coming out of the water or something. You don't know wets can swim, or I don't know if this is a mouse or a wet. So whatever this is, of course, this Asian wet or Asian animal, which is called wet or mouse, is from Asia, like I said, and it's spread over Europe, not to cities, but to general behavior. Like I said, it's a surviving animal. Yeah, and without cats, we would have just wets the on the whole planet. Just think about you go out, and everything what you see is 10 rats coming your way or 10 mouses coming your way. So that's why you have a cat population. So people think this is all just random ecosystem, and this is all clever installed. Okay, and this video is a reminder, just like that rat, that rats are not just in cities, right? So they just came out there came rat out of the water. And guess what? Cities have a lot of underground holes, but on the land you also have a lot of underground holes, which these rats, they just come from the underground, which cats cannot go into the underground. For what I believe, cats can creep out of bushes, can creep out of houses. You have cats coming, being pets. Yeah. So, for example, this rat over there, for example, which there's also some ducks here. A duck. You have a lot of ducks here. So these animals live in harmony together, and yeah, but you have every animal surviving basically. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Yeah. So for example, if this duck over there or this mouse, rat or whatever dies, okay, most likely there will not come a vulture here in Germany out of the sky, tries to eat it. But that's why you have vultures. So everything is a functioning ecosystem. Of course you would say, oh yeah, that's disgusting, but they're just the ecosystem, okay? Like people who do drugs, right? Like even alcohol, even yeah, people who have what is it called? Who have a phobia, right? Phobia, right? You have people having yeah, spider phobia, right? So guess what? Spider phobia. Uh, you you I don't say go and touch spiders or go in the zoo and look for spiders so you can get over your phobia. I don't say you have to do that, but just understand that even a spider has an systematic it's an ecosystem. So mosquitoes are probably among the least popular animals on Earth. Mosquitoes, just like now, I'm outside and mosquitoes always try to fight me, right? So you would think mosquitoes are unnecessary. But even mosquitoes have their right to basically have their right. Because think about it. Think about it in that way. Mosquitoes have also a economic an economic way to live. Okay, an eco-flowing system in their nature. Their larvae provide food for fish and other aquatic animals, while many adult mosquitoes become food for birds, bats, dragonflies. You saw a giant bat? I saw a giant bat on the internet. You can type that in, giant bat. I believe it is maybe Sri Lanka or so, I don't know. But they are giant bats. And you think bats are, ugly and, all bats have to be killed. If you see a giant bat, first time you are scared, but even a giant bat is really not a harm. And people the woman or the man who saw that giant bat, did not just a photo, but also the bat was really harmless. Okay, it's not a bat that I don't say okay that it's good that you have overpopulation of pets around or in your house. You have pets in houses. Okay, so you have to call the Kammerjäger, the hunter for your house. But the giant bat, okay, like if you know what bats do, like this is not an animal science video, but it's a little bit science. But if you know what bats do, try to remember, then what they do is they just eat fruits. They actually just eat fruits. Imagine, you think a bat hunts. You think a bat is hunting down your cat or your dog, right? A giant bat. When a giant bat just hangs with its body down on a tree the whole day, and if it's not doing that, then it eats fruits. Fruits, yes, fruits. Okay. Did you know that? Exactly. I know that because I understand that animals are ecosystem and we need them, even if it doesn't look like it. Okay. So humans found out that there are ways to have a population control, basically. So population control is something which the agenda is there to also do that with humans. Okay? And if you do that with humans, it seems you want to decide who lives or dies. And guess what? That is not something humans should be able to. You can argue, yeah, you have some countries, they have death panel, right? That is something different. To receive a death panel, to be honest, you deserve it. Okay, a death panel, think about it. Okay, so if you receive a death panel even in 2026, you deserve it, I would say. Okay, just like from the scriptures, that some of the 144,000, okay, can receive a death panel. Okay, not that you want it or that you go for it in a way where you look for, where you, you're hunting your own death panel, like I said. Okay. Like I said, you don't deserve something else than a death panel if you get a death panel. Which I also saw beaver here. But yeah, because real human cause real human suffering. Yeah, some species transmit serious diseases which cause real human suffering, right? So the super hated mosquito is responsible for keeping actually very important diseases from you, away from you, sometimes. Okay, of course we found a way to fight mosquitoes, because if again the population um, is overly around you, then it is more than needed. Okay. Birds, bats, dragonflies, frogs, and spiders. Some mosquito species also pollinate certain flowering plants. This does not mean disease is good. The Bible teaches that suffering entered the world through sin. See Genesis 3. But even in a fallen world, God can bring order through creation. Yeah. So basically everything looks fallen, right? You have maybe a mosquito plague in the summer, right? Everybody talks about how um, how they how they had different mosquito attacks over the day. Okay, everybody's talking about it. Okay, and yeah, and it's natural. It's natural that you have that. It's natural that those insects, those insects exist. For example, I don't have pets. Okay, I don't need pets. Not because I'm frightened of having a cat or a dog. Okay, but I'm frightened of having too much costs. Okay, like the money spinning wheel that is this world. It shows you that it's really money, um, money. Um, how do you call it? Yeah, sick of money, basically. Yeah. Yeah, what people once considered useless often turns out to be important. Yeah, the elect, okay, useless for women. You know, most women don't like men who don't have the what is it? The spirit for adultery every time. Okay, not caring. Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, there might be something spiritual to it. Okay, so women actually see something in you that other men maybe don't push so much. So who knows, man? Okay, who knows? But let's read Job 12:7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee. Can't. Okay, for example, if I look at uh, for example, yeah, the scripture talks about ants. Okay, ants. The scripture talks about the bull. Okay, the power of the bull, the strength of the bull. Yeah, and you know what strength is. You know what ants do. Okay, they just work for their queen, so to speak. And guess what? You don't need an animal to show you that, but sometimes it's just good that the Bible mentions it, so you just know that. Yet, I don't know, but animals. help me also to understand that really, going to work is normal, for example. You know, I don't see that too. I don't see that too. What is it? Too special. Okay, like animals are part of me, basically. You would say, right? I love to watch dinosaur dinosaur movies. Okay, or go back in dinosaur time. And, okay, certain bones being found. Interesting stuff, right? Or how do the animals? How how are the animals extinct and so on and so on and so on, right? So animals were always a part of this earth. So I believe that is another reason why asking the beasts, and they shall teach thee. Yeah, I don't say that you have to be a that you have to be a that you have to eat meat because the T-Rex was the strongest dinosaur. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is what the Bible is teaching us in the first place. Okay, and especially because the T-Rex wasn't really the strongest. Okay, you have the strongest were actually the biggest, oftentimes. You know, the plant-eating super dinosaurs, if you know which I mean. Especially the Argentine, how is his name? Argentinius or whatever. Okay, heavy big. So that already shows you, okay, that it's not about that. Okay, because you can have a different opinion which was now the best dinosaur. What maybe you can argue that you have these smaller dinosaurs, okay, these smaller vegan or vegetarian dinosaurs, which but even they survived, and how their body over time evolved into something which fits better in their surrounding, and this is how they survived, and they had no enemies uh, when they evolved further into that and that direction, or into that and that uh, body style, okay. So it's not really too much of a lesson when it comes to animals in the Bible, but it's something interesting. Science continues, of course, discovering new relationships between living things. And guess what? And this is something which I close out the video with. What people once considered useless often turns out to be important. Okay? So if that go to the end, those log at Proverbs 6:6-8. You could read.